Welcome to the Digital Intellect, bringing you the latest news from around the world. Imagine a part of the United States suddenly cut off, not by an ocean, but by a neighbor. This is Alaska's reality today. Canada has made it nearly impossible for Americans to drive to their own state. The Alaska Highway, once a symbol of U.S. Canada friendship, is now a source of frustration and delay. Trucks carrying essential supplies face unprecedented holdups. Families moving north are tangled in confusing new rules. This isn't a simple disagreement, it's a calculated move by the Canadian government that's left Washington scrambling. The world's longest undefended border suddenly feels fragile. For decades, crossing Canada to reach Alaska was routine. Now it's a major challenge. Canada has built a blockade of bureaucracy, using rules and regulations as silent weapons. Alaskans feel isolated, their connection to the rest of the U.S. choked off by a foreign power. Why is this happening? How did two allies end up here? The decisions made in Ottawa are being felt in Fairbanks grocery stores and Anchorage small businesses. The free flow of people and goods is no longer guaranteed. Alaska's only land link to the lower 48 runs through Canada, a relationship built on trust, now broken. The shockwaves are spreading far beyond Alaska, raising questions about the future of U.S.-Canada relations. For the 730,000 Americans in Alaska, this isn't politics, it's a daily crisis threatening their way of life. The story is complex, rooted in past disputes and present-day maneuvering. As we dig deeper, we see a calculated Canadian strategy designed to send a powerful message to Washington. So what has Canada actually done? They've built a barrier of red tape. First, massive new fees for commercial vehicles. What used to be a modest charge is now thousands of dollars. These transit tariffs hit any U.S. vehicle passing through to Alaska. Canada claims it's for road maintenance, but the scale suggests otherwise. It's a financial penalty. Next, border inspections have become grueling. Every truck faces intense scrutiny, and any paperwork error means being turned away. Trucks now wait days, even a week just to cross. Fresh food spoils, medical supplies are delayed, and construction projects stall. On top of that, a mountain of new paperwork and permits makes the process nearly impossible to navigate. Companies are forced to hire consultants just to keep up. This isn't just inconvenience, it's a deliberate tactic to slow everything down. High fees, strict inspections, and endless paperwork form an effective blockade. Canada hasn't closed the border, but for many it might as well be. The road to Alaska is no longer open as it once was. Why is Canada doing this now? The answer goes back to recent trade wars. In 2018, the U.S. imposed tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, straining a long-standing partnership. Canada retaliated, and though many tariffs were lifted, trust was damaged. Canadian leaders learned that economic integration with the U.S. also meant vulnerability. Now, with new trade tensions rising, Canada is using its geography as leverage. The Alaska Highway is a pressure point. By restricting access, Canada reminds Washington it has power too. This isn't just about revenge, it's a calculated move to force the U.S. to the negotiating table. Canadian policymakers believe the U.S. has taken them for granted. By targeting Alaska, they inflict pain without starting a full trade war. It's a precise action designed to get attention. The blockade is a direct result of unresolved tensions from the past. Canada wants more respect and a rebalanced relationship. The message, the U.S.-Canada partnership, can't be one-sided. This is high-stakes diplomacy, not just a border dispute. The economic battles of the past are shaping today's politics. For Alaskans, this isn't a distant debate, it's a daily crisis. The cost of goods is soaring. Milk, bread, and produce are suddenly much more expensive. Store shelves are emptying, pharmacies are running low, and construction projects are stalled. The supply chain is breaking down. Small businesses are hit hardest. Restaurants can't afford ingredients, mechanics can't get parts. Owners face impossible choices, absorb costs and risk bankruptcy, or raise prices and lose customers. Families moving to Alaska are shocked by the new costs. Students face complicated, expensive journeys. The blockade is disrupting lives and shattering plans. Alaskans feel held hostage in a political fight they didn't start. The sense of isolation is growing. Resilience is being tested like never before. The community backbone, small businesses, are at risk. The human cost is immense. Alaskans are looking to Washington for answers. The need for a solution is urgent. The crisis is complicated by Canada's provinces. The Alaska Highway runs through British Columbia and the Yukon, each adding their own rules and fees. British Columbia has imposed a steep environmental fee on U.S. trucks, claiming it offsets emissions, but it feels like another barrier. The Yukon has tightened regulations on truck size and weight, forcing companies to use smaller, less efficient vehicles. This patchwork of rules creates a bureaucratic nightmare. Truckers face changing regulations at every border. Local leaders see this as a chance to address their own grievances and gain more control over the corridor. The result: more delays, higher costs, and even greater frustration. Provincial involvement means any solution must satisfy not just Ottawa but local governments too. The blockade is coordinated at every level. For businesses, the journey to Alaska is now a maze of obstacles. There's another layer: Canada's mineral wealth. Canada supplies the U.S. with rare minerals like germanium and cobalt, essential for tech and defense. By restricting Alaska access, Canada reminds Washington of this dependence. The unspoken threat: Canada could slow or halt exports, crippling U.S. industry and security. Silicon Valley and the Pentagon would feel the impact. Germanium, for example, is vital for fiber optics and night vision tech. Most of it comes from Canada or China. If Canada cuts supply, the U.S. would rely more on China, a rival. This turns the blockade into a high-stakes strategic game. It's not just about highways, it's about the building blocks of the modern economy. Canada is signaling it's willing to use every tool to achieve its goals. The stakes for the U.S. are higher than ever. The need for resolution is urgent and global. The blockade's effects reach far beyond Alaska. U.S. companies serving Alaska are losing business, facing layoffs and uncertainty. Canadian businesses along the Alaska Highway are suffering too. Hotels, truckers, and gas stations are empty. The blockade is a double-edged sword, hurting both sides. Inside Canada, some question if the strategy is worth the cost. Globally, this dispute shakes confidence in international trade. The U.S. Canada relationship was a model of stability. Now it's a warning sign. Investors and corporations fear this kind of conflict, which threatens global growth. If Canada succeeds, other countries may try similar tactics, weaponizing geography and resources. The world could become more fragmented and confrontational. The Alaska blockade is a test case for the future of international relations. How this ends will send a message to the world. Despite the crisis, hope remains. Diplomats from both countries are working behind the scenes to find a solution. High-level talks are underway, aiming to de-escalate and compromise. Political pressure is mounting on both sides. U.S. senators and Canadian business leaders want action, the likely path forward: compromise. The U.S. may address Canada's trade grievances. Canada would lift the Alaska restrictions. Both sides must step back from hardline positions and negotiate in good faith. The U.S.-Canada bond is strong, built on shared values and history. This crisis doesn't have to be permanent. With leadership and diplomacy, the road to Alaska can reopen and trust can be rebuilt. The people of Alaska and both nations are counting on it.